Welcome Exiles, today I want to present you my Poisonous Concoction build for the 3.19 league Lake of Kalandra. After Patchnotes I should say that build will be more stronger and I want to show you why. First of all, it's the best lake starter in the game so far, and starting with this build will be right choice for everyone. So fast and comfortable leveling, you can run through all acts very fast and you will have enough damage to kill any boss. You need to start first act with a caustic arrow and puncture, speedrun the first act and then buy Poisonous Concoction in the second act, and later you should take Herald of Agony and Plague Bearer. You can complete your acts with items from the floor because your main skill is so strong and don't need a power from items, only from your Life Flask. Life Flask your main source of damage, because damage from Poisonous Concoction consuming your Life Flask charges to increase damage from skill in percentages. So you need to take as fast as you can the best saturated Divine Life Flask with a 28% quality and 5222 recovers life amount. And what about utility flasks? The main idea of the build is the endless flask effects on you, because you have a lot of flask sustain from 3 Ascendancy Skills. When you roll flask with the enchant used when charges reach full, your flask will have after activation, and this feels like a mage blood. They are recovering much faster than you are consuming them. For the skill tree I've made leveling system almost for each 10 levels, so you will not miss anything in your progress. I left link in the description for this passive building guide. On this build I know 2 different setups of the end game and you can choose one of them. The first one will be double curse setup, where we will use Ascendancy gloves for curse enemies and explode them. Also we have a despair in our ring, so we are going to top, and just take note you can apply an additional curse. Large cluster jewels applied on this tree too, and it's almost perfect in my opinion. The second build setup will be for blocks, and I like it more because you are almost invincible. On this build you need to take Sword Mastery and all nodes for block in the bottom, also convert all your evasion to armor because of Iron Reflexes node, and make a large cluster jewel tree as well. So what is the difference from these builds? Double curse has better clearing speed, much more better, but block setup is more tanky and you just can die with a lot of damage as well. In bosses block setup is better too. In the Ascendancy Skills you should make Nature's Rep Resolve first, it's the most useful and powerful skill in the beginning. Then Master Toxicist, which gives us a lot of damage. Before you take powerful utility flasks, you should take Nature's Adrenaline for better movement speed and attack speed. But when you got Frenzy charges and last 2 Ascendancy points, you should respect to Nature's Boon and Master Alchemist. Because GGG changed this node and now it will give you free 20% of flask increased effect, and also you will remove all elemental ailments from you when you use a flask. It means you don't need purity of elements aura at all. Frenzy charges is our main damage boosting, so we need to sustain them always. In block setup we should take Sword Mastery node for killing bosses, very simple, and also using default Blood Rage on mapping. And on double curse setup you should buy Anomalous Blood Rage for gain frenzy charges on bosses. So, what skills we will use in our build? As I said before, in the first act this will be Caustic Arrow and Puncture, Dash for movement and Precision for accuracy. In the second act we will buy Poisonous Concoction with a lesser multiple projectiles and Volley. If you have 4 green links you can put Void Manipulation too. Also buy Herald of Agony, Withering Step and Plague Bearer, also Ancestral Protector. Later you should take Despair Curse and Blood Rage for frenzy charges. In the mid game you should use Despair with a Blasphemy support because we will use Imprison's Amulet. And the last form of our skill gems for endgame will be Divergent Poison Concoction, Greater Multiple Projectiles, Greater Volley, Void Manipulation, Unbound Elements and Life Tap. From auras we will use Grace, Determination, Defiance Banner and Precision. Plague Bearer with increased area of effect and Withering Step with increasing duration. Steel Skin on the left mouse button and Ancestral Protector with faster attacks. And also Anomalous Blood Rage and Free Malevolence from Owl's Amulet. First of all gems, you should buy awakened versions of Poisonous Concoction and Plague Bearer, it increases your damage almost for 30%. Talking about gear, in the early game nothing special, cheap unique items and rare items with life, resistances and stats. In the mid game we will use more expensive unique items like Brass Dome and Impressence Amulet, which gives us Despair cast like an aura. And in the late game you should buy very expensive rare items and corrupted unique items with correct modes. Also we will use Owl's Uprising with a free Malevolence aura. The difference between double curse and block setups will be only glows. In double curse we will use Ascendancy and on block setup we will use Snakebite with a high roll and corrupted modes. In the Pantheon you should take Soul of Lunaris and Soul of Rislata. So what to do after acts? First of all, stop in the last act and don't kill Kitava to keep some of your resistances, then you need to farm some currency for respec or for your mid-end game gear and gems. I recommend Haste because it's a pleasure farming Haste with a Poisonous Concoction. With a Withering Step you can run into mobs and Haste contracts very fast. And of course when you earn currency you can start doing maps and complete your atlas. And what to buy first? The most important thing is a life flask with a big amount of recovery. After that you need to buy early mid and game gear and then roll utility flask for main components. And then you should put clusters in your tree and buy the most important awakened gems. In the summary I can say that this build is the best league starter in the game and of course it can close all endgame contents, but your damage is quite limited and not instant. After all, this build has a good clearing speed in maps and it's not a bad boss killer. So I don't recommend play on this build in the endgame. I think it's a better choice to respect into Scorch Arrow, Lightning Arrow, Ice Shot, Toxic Rain or Lightning Strike. Those builds still works and they are better in terms of clearing and bossing too. That's all what I wanted to show you guys. I don't know the right build for the start, but maybe it will be Poisonous Concoction. Anyway, thanks for watching and your support, it means a lot for me. Goodbye, Exiles.